Alright, well, hey everyone, I'm back at it again with another Videostar tutorial thing, since y'all have been asking for more, so I am doing more, and I just hope you find this video helpful. Alright, so this first one is going to be just a basic spinning transition, so you're just going to want to get your 2 clips, and then you're going to want to go to the first clip and click multi-layer. Then go to the first layer and choose your clip or picture or whatever, then go to edit keyframes, and then go to the end of the video and turn it around 25 to 20. It just really depends on how fast you want it to go. And then I'm going to do a custom path here. Now I learned this path from Shan's edits. This is not my path at all, so I just want to give credit to her and her amazing tutorials. So yeah, I learned this path from her, and it makes my edits look great. So trying to get used to it. So just kind of follow what I do here, and yeah, the graphs are super nice, and I love them. I'll be doing them in time lapse for the the remainder of this tutorial. But yeah, this is a really good graph, or I mean path, custom path. They're really good. Alright, so here I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in about 140, 135. It really just also depends on how fast you want it to go. And I'm going to do the path again. The same exact path, by the way. Alright, so now that you've got that zoom in transition, I'm just kind of adjusting it here to my liking, and you should do that too if you just want it to be slower or faster. And then now I'm going to select that mirror that I just clicked on, that one, the last mirror, and then yeah, it'll just make it look nicer. And then you're going to want to go to the paintbrush and pick tracking blur, and just do it like a tiny bit, not too much. And then yeah, so I'm just adjusting that, and after that I'm just gonna want to click, just adjusting stuff here. Want it to be a little slower, so sorry about that. But yeah, so just click create, and then just look at your preview. If you're happy with it, then do that, and then go back to it, go to multi-layer again, go to the one you just did, and go back to the paintbrush and click spin focus. And then you want to go to the last one, like here where I'm selecting. You want to go to the last one at the bottom, and then you're going to go to edit keyframes, and then put it at 0 at the beginning. And then once it starts spinning, I put it only at like around 11 or 12. And I'm just going to do the custom path again here, the same exact one. Alright, so now that you're done with that, you're just going to want to click create, look at your preview, be happy with it, and click done. And then you're going to want to go to your second clip, click multi-layer, the first layer, and go to edit keyframes, and do it like the same number, 20 to 25, but do it on the left. And then you can just make it go to 0 wherever you want. I did it a little shorter. I made it a little shorter this time. But yeah, you're going to want to make it go left to whichever number you did. And then you're going to want to go to 0 there. And then I'm going to do a custom path here. This is a new one for the second clip. And it's, to me, a little easier to do. But just follow what I do here. I also got this one from Shan's Edits. So, yes, It's a great custom path. So yeah, just follow what I do here. Alright, so now that you're done with that, you're going to want to go to the start of the video again, and you're going to want to zoom it out. And I zoomed it out around 60 to 65%, just again depends on how fast you want it to go. And then after that, you're going to want to go to where the spin turns to 0 and then put it at 100%. And then I'm going to do a custom path here again. It's going to be the same exact path as the one I did before. Alright, so now you have that, and here you're just going to do the same thing with the path. You're going to pick the 4th path, and then you're going to go to tracking blur, and again do just a little bit, and then yeah, just check that you like it, and then go to create, make sure the preview looks good, do done. And then you're going to want to go back and do like the same thing you did the first clip. You're going to add the spin focus, and then you're going to want to go to the one at the bottom, the last one again, and then go to edit keyframes and do it at around 11 to 12%. 11% for this, and then go to 0, and I'm just going to do the same exact custom path here. Alright, so now that you're done with that, you're just going to check that you like it, go back, click create, check the preview, check you like it, click done, and then there's your transition. Okay, so for this transition that I don't know what to call, you're just going to need one clip, and yeah, I just have this one clip here. You're going to want to go to multi-layer, and go to layer 1. You're going to add this to 3 layers, the same picture or video, whatever you're doing. And then you're going to go to edit mask or add mask, just depending on what you've done. It's the same thing. And then you're going to want to choose the one that I'm choosing right here. Yeah, so choose that one. And then it doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure that it goes well with the other pictures, that it just doesn't, there's no gaps or in between them. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure there's no gaps. And so you're going to do this to all 3 of them. There's a top, middle, and a bottom. And so you don't want any gaps like that. So this is me just adjusting it to look nice. And yeah, so just take your time with that. And then you're going to want to go to the first layer, go to edit keyframes, and then you're going to go make it at the beginning go right or left, and you're going to want to go all the way to the right, which is what I'm doing here. And then once you get to where it hits the mark, which I just prefer because it looks better, and then you're going to want it to go all the way there. And then I'm doing a custom path here again. It's just the same one I did in the last transition, so yeah, just follow what I do.
Just wanna be loved.
Alright, so now that you have that, you're just going to check that it looks good, and yep, that's pretty much it. For the first one. So the next one, you're going to want it to go to the, like where, like you're going to want it to make sure it's like you can't see it, and I'm going to the left this time because it just looks better, and it helps me to see the other layers. So you're going to want to do that, and then when it goes to the far left, you're just going to go to where it hit the mark, where it hits the next mark, and then make it go into the frame. And then I'm going to do the custom path again, and you don't really need to see that. You just do you just repeat the same process you did the other time. Okay, so now you have your 2 little slide thingies, and you're gonna do the last one. And this one, just make sure you can't see it in the frame again. And yeah, so make sure it just stays there. And then you're gonna go to wherever mark you're going to. Make sure you mark it, and with those arrows, and just make sure you mark it so it just stays in that place until you go to the last mark, and make it match. Just make the bottom picture match with the other ones. And I'm just gonna do the custom path again. It's just the same one I've been doing, and yeah, now you have all 3 of those once you're done with those paths. And for right here, I'm just adding tracking blur. You can add whatever you want. I recommend tracking blur. It just makes it look a lot smoother and not as choppy. So that's just what I'm doing here. Adjust it to your liking. I just recommend doing it just not as much. Just do it at like a low level. It's still a lot when it's at a low level. And see, it just looks a lot smoother when you do it that way. Alright, so now that you're done with that, just click create and look at the preview, make sure it looks good, and then click done, and there is your transition. Alright, so here I'm just going to do this zoom in effect with this melty effect. I'm mostly focusing on the melty effect, but I'll do tutorial for the zoom in too. So you're just going to want to go to multi-layer, then you're going to do the picture, video, whatever, and then you're going to go to edit keyframes on the first layer, and then go to the end of the video, and you can go, I usually go 130 to 135, but you can do whichever you want depending on how fast you want it to go, but that's just usually what I do. So right now I'm just adjusting, and then I turn it a little bit to the right because I just think it looks cute. And then you're going to want to pick that mirror, and then do tracking blurred, but do it not as strongly, just do a little bit. And yeah, and then you want to go to the next clip, do multi-layer, do the first one, and then go edit keyframes. And I'm going to go 130 again, 135, and then I'm going to pick that path. So I forgot to mention that, do the paths. And then I'm just doing a very quick shake here. I usually pick that path for the shake. And then I'm just doing a little spin again, a little tilt. But yeah, sorry, that was really quick, just kind of simple. And then do a tracking blur again. And yeah, so it's just a zoom in, zoom out kind of thing. And yeah, I'm just adjusting the shake here. Make sure it doesn't look horrible, but I just kind of brushed with this one. Alright, so that's just the basic zooming in transition. So now you're going to want to go to new, and then you're going to want to click on transform. And then you're going to want to go to psycho sorter. And then click edit there. And there you have threshold 1, 2, time 1, time 2. So for threshold 1, you're going to want it to be at 0. And for threshold 2, you can adjust that like however you like, how much you want it to melt. I just did a little halfway depending on what clip you use. And then for time, it just basically when you want it to start. I just did it there. And yeah, so that's it for the first one. You can adjust it however you'd like. Just make sure that the time 1 is at the back, and time 2 is just wherever you want it to be. So yeah, and here I'm just checking that it looks good. You're just gonna click create, and yeah, then you're gonna want to go to transform on the second clip again, and then go to cycle sorter, click edit, and then for that you're gonna want to go to threshold 1 and make it go, adjust it to whatever your liking is. And then for time, make sure it's still at the start. And then for threshold, you just choose wherever you want it to end, the little melty effect. And yeah, now I'm just adjusting it to whatever time I want. So time 2 is where you adjust it to your liking. And then you're just gonna click create, and yeah, that's all there is to it. So that wasn't the best example in my opinion, but here's the little Stranger Things edit that I made, and at the end I added the melty effect, and it adds a nice effect to whatever kind of edit you're making, like if it's like creepy or scary or whatever it is, it can add a cool effect. Okay, so this is just an easy effect to end off the video, but that I think is adorable and I love doing all the time. So you're just going to want to go to multi-layer, go to the first layer, and you're going to just click your clip as the first one. And then for the next few layers, just go text. And you can do as many heart emojis as you want, or whatever emojis you're doing. But I just picked 4 for this one, so I just picked 4 little heart emojis that I liked. And yeah, that's just what you'll be doing. And then this layer is going to go, you know, like above all the layers, and it's going to be the same clip as the first one. And then with that layer that you picked, so for me it's the 6th one, but that one, you're going to go to edit keyframes. You're going to go to add mask, and then you're going to go to erase, and then you're just going to erase the background. And honestly, it doesn't really have to be perfect or exact. It's not really that noticeable, but don't be super sloppy, because then it can be noticeable. So, yeah, just don't do that. Alright, so once you're done with that, you're going to go to your previous layers, and then you're going to take the first emoji, and I'm just turning it and adjusting it to my liking, and then you're going to want to make it like sprout out, whatever time step you want. I just don't want it to go too slow. So you're going to make it sprout out like that, out of like the head, and then you're going to pick that path, and yeah, it's pretty basic. And then here I'm just being lazy, so you're going to want to copy the keyframes from the second layer and then flip it vertically, and then you have it down there if you're copying me. And then you're going to want to go here, copy the keyframes from the third layer, and then flip it horizontally. Don't do this if you're not exactly copying what I'm doing, but I usually do this because it's just easier. And then you can copy the keyframes from the second layer again, and then you're going to flip it horizontally again. And then, yeah, it's just pretty simple. And here I'm just adjusting it to my liking. You can do the same, whatever you're doing for this. So, yeah, just making it a little closer to the face. And then now here I'm just being fancy and adding a little bit of tracking blur just to make it look smoother. And then I'm adding this to all 4 of the hearts. So yeah, I always recommend tracking blur for a lot of things. It makes it look nice. And yeah, then you just go create, and then you click done. And yeah, that's your little effect. So that's going to be it for this whole tutorial. I hope to get out more, but here's just this one. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful, and bye.